Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I am your host, GamerGuy33, and we last left Lunk. He had turned into a child, went over to learn Din's Fire over in the castle courtyards, and now he's in the graveyard. He got over here using the song that he learned from Sheik when the village was being attacked, so it's a little bit of a shortcut that we can take over here. We don't have many stops to do in this episode, basically just the windmill and then underneath the well. So, as you might recall, when we were adults, we came into the windmill and learned a very mysterious song that the guy who played it to us said he learned from a child playing it in the windmill. So, now that we're a kid, we're going to play the song again for him and see what happens. So he's mad because it's going way too fast, but not nearly as mad as he was in the future. So I guess it's a grudge that'll grow over time. So as an effect for us playing the Song of Storm, so a mill went really fast and drained the well over here. And oddly enough, it's bright and sunny now. But we still get to go into the well. That's what's important. I guess it'd be flooded again if it kept on raining. There's a lot of interesting links with that windmill and dead stuff. I mean, Dompe's grave is connected to the windmill. I mean, Redead could be just running in there at any time. When the windmill goes really fast, you get to the bottom of this well, which... just look at it, it already doesn't look happy, and this is just the entryway. So Navi has a little point here that the skeleton is trying to whisper to us. What you got for us? Look for the Eye of Truth. Okay. I guess we can do that. So as you can see, that was a fake wall that's actually going to start becoming more and more common as we progress through this Let's Play. There's going to be a lot of fake imagery that we're going to need the Eye of Truth in order to discover. A lot of people who speedrun this game will actually come to this area first before all the other dungeons just because the bomb shoes are here. Bomb shoes are necessary for a lot of hacks like jumping, jumping upward, getting the areas that are normally accessible, just that kind of stuff. And this is the quickest way you get them. You have to glitch through the walls a lot. I mean, it is possible because it's a common route, but it's very difficult to do if you're just a regular player. And what we're doing right now is draining the water. That way we have access to a couple other areas in this dungeon. A lot of the imagery is really creepy in here. Like, surprisingly creepy for a Nintendo game. Like, that fountainhead had a round face with hands poking out like it was a human body made into the wall. There's like red tints everywhere of either rust or blood. There's a grate right there. Huh. But yeah, just a lot of interesting stuff. Sorry, I'm just really interested. That grate was where the water was. Does the water circulate down here, or does it go down to a deeper place? As a matter of fact, how does the windmill connect with all of that? How does the windmill drain the well? Seems kind of odd to me. But a lot of things are odd. Like this room right here with hands coming out of the ground grabbing him as this guy waddles over to him. God, Lunk, you've had to deal with some messed up stuff in your childhood and adulthood. You know what? We're gonna fix that. Lunk, when was the last time you had a birthday party? We're gonna play piñata with him. And mash him with the DP stick. And then slash his face a little bit. Oh, come on, buddy. We're just playing. We're just having fun. Here, we can hold hands. Come on, I'll hold your hand again. Ah, there he is. Now he's being friendly. See, he does this little wing flappy thing over here. His arms look surprisingly like chicken wings without just all the meat on them. Just the way they bend, kind of. It's very... oh, I'm up in the air. I wonder if there's something hidden right there that I landed on. And... Lunk doesn't even need a blindfold to be bad at piñata, folks. And we're working through my supply of sticks. The reason why I was using the Deku stick originally was... I remember reading somewhere it's supposed to have a higher damage modifier, mainly because they are disposable. They can't work over and over again, so there's supposed to do more damage. For the most part, it seems like my sword is doing enough damage to this guy, though, so... And plus I'm out of Deku Stick, so not much I can do. Except that was actually kind of fun. Oh wow, these hands have a really long reach. It's kind of interesting, because it looks like they're just grabbing Lunk from the head, but he's acting like he's getting strangled. Must be a lot of pressure on his head, though. And this guy goes down, and his neck inverts and his jaw just, like, dislocates. Game for kids, ladies and gentlemen. Game for kids. So in here is where we're going to get the main treasure of the dungeon, and the main useful tool that we'll be using in the next Shadow Temple, the Lens of Truth. It lets you look past objects that aren't actually there, and basically see what you normally can't see. So it's very helpful when you're trying to like cross gaps and there's a hidden platform or stuff like that. So we're gonna go ahead and equip this and give it a shot real quick. And that's what I landed on earlier, that treasure chest. But we aren't gonna get that right now just because there's money in there. I'm already maxed out on money, so it'd be a waste. And let's just skip around this guy. There we go, he gets to live today. So at this point, honestly, we could leave the dungeon if we wanted to. We have the Lens of Truth. That's the only thing we need in here. However, we got a lot of time to kill, so I am going to wander around a little bit more. There's some locked doors we can go into, and a lot of gold scatullas we can also nab too. So we'll go ahead and start working on that. And we have one item right here. That's our key. I think there's like 3 or 4 keys in this dungeon. Oh, and this giant bauble. They look a lot bigger, honestly, than they did in the Forest Temple. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be a bigger variety, or if it's just because Lunk is a child now, but they look huge. And you can see me wandering around and getting hit. Wandering around, not sure where we're going. Originally, the first couple of times I tried to record this, I was having an issue, finding out where the Lens of Truth was. I actually forgot after all these years. I'm a little embarrassed to admit that, but you know, it has been a long time since I last played this game, so hopefully the internet will understand that. And I decided to cut that run because it was literally just like me wandering around for 30 minutes, not finding where to go. And oh, we found a compass. The compass is going to be no good to me without a map, though, so we're going to head down here and get the map. We have some redeads. I really hate those guys. And since we're kids again, they actually do paralyze us again. But luckily, we'll outgrow that. It kind of doesn't really make sense when you think about it, though, because it's not like I don't think it's a spell that freezes you from their yell. I'm pretty sure it's just you as a child being freaked out by what's going on, which is understandable. But at the same time, when you're 17 years older, you have the same head. You should be equally as freaked out. That shouldn't change with body type. Well, maybe Lunk realizes that these guys could just totally get on top of him and like pin him down and do horrible things to him. And as an adult, he can struggle a little bit more. So maybe he does have a reasonable reason to be freaked out. Anywho, like I was mentioning before, another issue I was having is once I got the Lens of Truth in here, it turns out the emulator I was using to play this game wasn't working properly, and the lens wouldn't actually do anything for me. The textures would remain, stuff that was hidden would remain hidden. It basically did me no good. I tried a little bit progressing into the Shadow Temple without it, and it just really didn't work out well, so I ended up going back, downloading a different emulator to play with, and solving the problem altogether. One issue I do have with it, though, is for some reason it's really sensitive on the D-pad, so as you're going to see a couple times when I pop out the Lens of Truth, it makes me hit my other C buttons. So I'll be throwing bombs a lot, just because I'm trying to do one thing and I end up mashing another thing. Oddly enough, I had no problems with that with the other emulator. I don't know what can really change between there. And as I was mentioning earlier, the bomb chooser in this dungeon, that's a very hot spot for speedrunners, just because it lets them get to areas that are normally inaccessible and do a lot of tricks that they need bombs for, but they don't want to wait until they actually get bombs the normal way. And here I am grabbing the bomb again when I meant to hit the Lens of Truth. It works, it activates both at the same time, so I don't mind losing a few bombs, as long as I don't blow myself up in the process. And another plus about being a child again is we get access to the boomerang again. The boomerang is a pretty fun instrument. I realize that the hookshot and the long shot are supposed to replace it, but from what I've noticed, it feels like the boomerang's a little bit faster. I like that it curves because they can hit multiple enemies. Just overall, kind of a cool effect. So normally we wouldn't be able to make it across this room, but with the Lens of Truth we can see the right way to go. And our reward, it's just a gold scatola. That's all we're going to find in the rest of this dungeon pretty much, is another key and gold scatola. There we go. And most of the holes, actually I think every single hole that leads downward to the basement level will lead you back to where we got the map. And back to the Redeads, you have to collect the silver rupees all over again. It's really kind of a hassle. So I will try and avoid doing it from now on. And we got some sprouts to deal with. Actually, speaking of giant skull heads, like I was talking about the bobble earlier, these guys stay your size, but when you become an adult, obviously they're supposed to be bigger and more powerful, but it's kind of interesting because normally, like, stuff would seem smaller to Lunk when an adult instead of when a child. I like to see Lunk face off against a giant Deku Sprout, or Baba, whatever they're called. It's kind of interesting that so many of these creatures in the forest have the Deku name in them, but they are totally different. One's a benevolent like leader of the forest, takes care of a bunch of children, and the other things just want to kill you and shoot at you. It's different in Majora's Mask. They actually have a society. And I believe this is the first time in the game we've come across Gibdos. Gibdos are very much like Redeads, and they're very annoying, but not nearly as scary looking because they're just mummies. As you might notice, I was out of DQ sticks, so I couldn't start the fire the normal way, but luckily for me, I just retrieved Din's fire, so we can use that instead. And we get this nice panning camera shot of the coffin opening. And we open 2 chests at once. What's in the other one? It's a Gibdo, and he's hovering. Oh my god, that's just a little bit freaky, honestly. We have to make sure to take care of these keys quickly too, because they will fly into the torches and catch fire, and that's going to be bad for my shield. It'll catch fire pretty easily. And we got the last small key we need here. Let's just run around these guys, hopefully they don't notice. That noticed me. But we can outrun him. He moves very slow. Gibdos, I believe, are weak to fire. That's another difference between them and the Redeads. If you catch them on fire, their bandages burn, and it should kill them. In other games, you can play songs and make them dance around, and it's actually pretty fun to watch. Alright, so we have one more stop to make. We have a couple more chests in here, but I think they're mostly just full of money. I think the only one with a gold scatola is going to be down this way. We walked by it a couple times, but we didn't go in there just because that room was a big pain in the butt for me when I was trying to do this without the Lens of Truth. It's very hard to navigate and see, well, not see, but remember where the holes are going to be. It's right through this hole here. Yeah, I was extremely frustrated when I was first running this just because I couldn't remember where the Eye of Truth was, and then when I got it, it wasn't working. So it was very frustrating to finally find what you're looking for, and it still doesn't help you. So look at where the holes are. Imagine doing this without being able to see where they are. It was very frustrating to try and move around. And, ooh, I get hit. But luckily we're able to take care of those keys, and in this chest is another shield anyway, so it kind of worked out. I think the game was kind of counting on you messing up there. And go ahead and take this guy down. And this guy also eats shield, so I guess it's a good thing we didn't re-equip that. That'd be another step we'd have to do there. And I keep being way too aggressive and just slashing into him, forgetting that my sword is doing half damage in comparison to what I do as an adult. And here's our last gold scatola. There we go, and I believe we are all done with this dungeon. Nope, that's not the right song. No, that's not it. There we go. we're going to go ahead and teleport back to the Temple of Light so we can turn back into an adult Lunk, and we're going to take on the Shadow Temple next. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching Let's Play Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. I'm your host, GamerGuy33, and I'll see you in the next episode.